Welcome to another episode of Reece's Reviews. I am your co-host, Matt, and joining me on this episode is my other co-host, Reece.
How you doing, everybody?
It's named after him, of course. And we talk about movies, old and new, and also other pop culture stuff, other bits and pieces that we just stumble upon. Originally, it was taking a deep dive into Reece's Letterboxd account, CashelSkyGuy. But now we've just evolved further and further every time we do an episode. And speaking of episodes, in this one, we're going to be talking about a pop culture expo, as well as do a new movie review, which we've both seen at separate times, but we've seen it, so we can both talk about it. So that will be coming up straight after Reece explains what he wants to talk about. Scratch that itch, mate. What's going on?
Scratch that itch. Yeah, I love it. So in this moment in time, San Diego Comic-Con has just passed in this zeitgeist that we have in the entertainment world. And I thought there's a bunch of topics and things, and announcements that came out of the convention. It's pretty much the biggest convention in nerdom and pop culture on the planet.
I would love to go to it one day.
I would too.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I hear a lot of bad stories about it as well, especially if you want to get into Hall H.
Well, you know what? When people say bad stories, that's because they've either regular people who have gone, and then they're just getting tired of it. It's, there's too many people here. Oh,
I think it's a bit different, and where I get it for it is, I understand it, because San Diego Comic-Con, you got in Hall H, you can only fit about, I think it's 3,000 people in that auditorium, and you've got like over 100,000 people going to that convention over that stretch of the entire time it's open. So the fact that you've got one of the biggest drawing cards of that convention is Hall H, with all the announcements going through, all the panels going through there, and you can only provide that experience to that small of a ratio of people, I don't think it's a good thing. And I actually, a film pundit that I listen to very regularly daily, I actually do agree with him. I think they should move Comic-Con to Vegas, where they can actually have so much a broader way, much bigger experience to provide a lot more people to come into Comic-Con and do those kind of conventions and those panels in a lot more larger scale. And Vegas has the infrastructure to cope with all those throughout the people coming through and for those conventions. So that's just my 2 cents on that point. But yeah, so I just thought, now it's going through when the biggest, I would say it is the biggest event of the year when it comes to pop culture and all things coming together for the brand new year coming about and things like that.
Well, this year it was Marvel-less, as in...
Yeah, Marvel didn't have a panel this year because they didn't have anything to promote. I think next year is going to be the year for it, because by the time Comic-Con comes around next year, I think Spider-Man Brand New Day would have just come out, and then they'll be leading straight into Doomsday. So I think they'll definitely have a presence next year. And I think even though we had a small panel presence from DC Studios, next year is going to be even bigger. The fact that they'll have a lot of their engine running by the time we get to Comic-Con next year.
And I'm kicking myself because one of the main features of this year's con was The Simpsons. So
yeah, it was,
which annoyed me every time. Every time they do something, I'm not there. So it's.
I feel you, buddy. I feel you. That's okay. So yeah, I was going to go through some topics, and I won't try and spend too much time on them. I'll just tick them off and just let you know kind of give a 2 minute kind of rundown about my thoughts, and then I'll go on to the next one. So I won't take too much of your precious time and our awesome audience. Let's get this ball rolling. So one of the first things that came up is Alien Earth is a new series coming out, which is premiering in Australia on Disney Plus on August 12th. They premiered the first episode at Comic-Con.
So is that a spin-off of the Alien series?
Yeah, Alien Earth. So it is a prequel of a prequel in a way, because they had Alien Romulus come out last year, which got a great reception. I personally loved that film. I think it was really a return to form for the franchise.
What year is the original Alien set as? What can you remember what year Alien was? Not when it was made.
Not that I'm aware of, but this Alien Earth series is predating. It's a prequel to that.
Okay.
So even so Alien Romulus was a prequel to Alien, and then Alien Earth is a prequel to Romulus. So this is going back to when more so on the human aspect on Earth when they first encountered the xenomorphs and things like that. So that's where this series will pick up from there, and it's been getting some good buzz coming around it. And yeah, they premiered the first episode at Comic Con and
I
got a kind
swear
of
that
decent
the
reception.
more prequels that they do of Alien, it's going to get to the point where it's going to be present day. So
Yeah.
eventually
Probably get to a
they'll
point
go
eventually.
like 2025 instead of 70 years in the future. They're running out of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I think there's both Alien and Predator. They're birthed a whole brand new life into these franchises, and they've found a formula, and it's working for them. So I'm actually really geared up to get into this. So yeah, that's premiering on Disney Plus in Australia on August 12th. Going into the next point is into the Star Wars realm. So Ahsoka season 2 is in production, along with the new animated series Star Wars More Shadow. So both of these are in production. They announced these back at Star Wars Celebration this year, and they are both in production. And they released some first images at Comic Con. So Ahsoka, they released an image of Ezra Bridger, looking very much more accurate to his animation counterpart. And then they just showed a new image of Maul in his animation style, which is changing it up a bit from where he was shown in Clone Wars and Rebels and things like that. So that's what was in the Star Wars universe. And being a big Star Wars fan, I was intrigued about it. I wasn't a huge fan of Ahsoka season 1, so I'm interested to see if they learned the lessons from season 1 and change gears in a positive light. So I'm a huge fan of Rebels and Clone Wars, so I'm hoping they can give us some brand new expansions of the galaxy and things like that. And being a fan of the animation style of Star Wars, gearing up for more Shadow as well. So just any chance to get more back on our screens. And what's the
You want
gentleman's
more of
name?
Maul.
More and more. Yeah, and Sam Witwer. He's a brilliant actor and voice performance as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So no, you're not too. Are you big on the extended universe of Star Wars,
Oh,
or
of
not
course, I
really?
love it. Just I can't
Yeah,
catch up on it. So
because there's so
there's
much.
so much. It's just trying. It's same. It's like with the Marvel universe. I haven't seen all of. I haven't seen any of Ironheart and
Mm,
like I haven't seen all of Daredevil and so forth. And yeah, with Star
okay.
Wars, it's I haven't watched much of the animated shows,
Oh, okay.
but I haven't
That's
even
fine.
watched Skeleton Crew yet. But it's just trying to find the time of day to
I
do
think
it.
Skeleton Crew is going to be. I think out of all the series, I think Skeleton Crew is going to be more up your
Yeah,
alley.
and I've only gotten a quarter of the way through Andor, so it's like I've seen all of season 1,
Peak.
but I haven't seen all
Cool.
of season 2. So it's
Nice.
yeah, but
Okay.
it's on my to watch list.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Moving back into the world of DC Studios, they had the panel with James Gunn and the casting of Peacemaker. And so season 2 is being released, and they dropped a brand new trailer for it, providing a bit more clarity of the story and how he's going to sort of fit into the new DC universe. So
Because he's the
that
only one
was,
that's coming over really from that
and Blue Beetle.
and
Blue
Blue.
Beetle's coming over.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so Peacemaker released a new trailer. I found the trailer was fun. Like Peacemaker was just like a whole hidden gem and a surprise when it came out a few years ago, and having that HBO Max kind of backing behind it of that series, which was really really good. So that trailer was a breath of fresh air, and I just felt right back in love with John Cena's Peacemaker. So I can't wait to see what they provide us in this one and how it just. And they said that this is going to have it pretty much takes place straight after Superman. So it's only like a couple of months after the events of Superman. So we're going to have a lot more of that continuity of the storylines between those two events of Superman and Peacemaker. So that's going to be premiered in Australia on HBO Max on August 21. So I'm not too sure if you watched Peacemaker season 1?
Nope, not yet.
No. No,
No.
okay, no worries. Yeah, it's on HBO Max, so the first season's on there. So we're getting gearing up for on August 21. Going into the next point is switching gears in genres in a similar sense in relation to superheroes is the spin-off series of The Boys on Prime, and this is going into Gen V. Season 2 got given a brand new trailer with some cast announcements. So big fan of the boys universe and the fact that how far they will go just to bring up how there's no boundaries. There is like if the line was here, like I know this is all audio, but if the line was here, pretty much they would just pass it and just the weirdest and outrageous things they can think of, they will just do it. And so Gen V season 2 is coming out with it. They released a new trailer, cast announcement. So anyone who's watching The Boys, Erin Ornority, who plays Starlight, is appearing in this season, which is helping out one of the main leads in the show. And then you've got Ethan Slater is cast as well as one of the founders of Godkin University. Ethan Slater recently appeared in Wicked, and he's been brought into Gen V season 2. So Gen V was very much a hidden surprise with us. So we didn't know if they're going to stretch the universe of The Boys too thin, but Gen V had that essence of The Boys, but was able to provide a little bit a different, I won't say tone, but anyway, because the same tone is definitely there within The Boys and Gen V, but it was definitely because you're working with such a younger cast, was able to show the universe in a different light, which is kind of nice instead of going really mature and adult, which you got with The Boys, but now you're going to a younger audience.
And
not only a younger audience, but a younger demographic when it comes to the actual stars themselves.
And Seth Rogen created The Boys, didn't he? Or is it just exec produced? Or is there attachment to Seth Rogen?
I think Seth Rogen is attached, but it's also Eric Kripke created the show.
Okay.
So Eric Kripke is the genius behind Supernatural, one of my favorite series of all time. So it's in my top. Supernatural is in one of my top series of all time. So Eric Kripke is the showrunner of The Boys, and he's also doing the Gen V as well. So I know, would I be right to assume my amazing co-host that you've not seen The Boys or Gen V?
I haven't watched any of those yet.
Okay, so I would personally think I would love to, maybe for a future episode, I'll get you to watch The Boys. I would just love to get your reaction, because it's so, like, some of the things on that show is like, what the living hell was that? And I just love to get your reaction from that. It's going to be intriguing. So I know we're going to have a lot of things on your list to watch, but I think that's going to be one of the top things you have to get onto, especially with the superhero genre, how big it is at the moment.
Sure.
Okay.
I accept that challenge.
Yes, please do. Okay, next thing on the list is The Long Walk. Released they had a panel and released a brand new trailer. The Long Walk is an adaptation of a Stephen King short story or a novel from my memory, and it's directed by Francis Lawrence, who gave us The Hunger Games. This movie looks so thrilling, but at the same time very scary and realistic in some instances. So the whole premise of the film is they want to win a prize, and all they got to do is they got to walk more than 3 miles an hour and keep walking, and the last person who survives wins.
Last man standing, yeah.
Last man standing. So the basic concept, but the marketing has been so intriguing, and it's Mark Hamill is the antagonist on it as well. So seeing him in there is fantastic. And then you have Stephen King's very much essence of what he's known for, plus Francis Lawrence's direction. It's going to be so intriguing to see what he gives into and provides when it comes to adapting this story of The Long Walk. So I'm so pumped to see how this movie translates to an audience, but also just ponders a lot of questions about reality and things like that as well. So have you seen any of the trailers and marketing?
I've seen the trailers. It starts off sweet, and then it takes a full turn, and then you realize, oh, this is not good. So
that's what I loved about the first trailer, is that you think in the first like 20 seconds you're going, oh, okay, yeah, kind of cool, and then all of a sudden it goes bang, and it shifts gears and going, whoa, okay, I wasn't expecting that.
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Next thing on the list delves back into the mythical of Predator. So Predator Badlands had a panel, and they released a brand new trailer. Plus, the director of Predator Badlands also recently released this year Predator Killer of Killers, which was an animated film they released on Disney Plus. So besides dropping a brand new trailer for Badlands, they also advised that they were providing an extended ending scene to Killer of Killers on Disney Plus, which this is public notice, so there's not me giving any spoilers. So pretty much the ending scene is going to also include Dutch, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger from the first movie, and they're also going to include Harrigan from Predator 2. And literally the extended scene, it literally goes for an extra 10 seconds. That's all it is. So I thoroughly enjoyed Killer of Killers. It was so rich in the mythology of Predator, but expanded things, which is what you want from a franchise like Predator. And it shown different lights of how different what's the word? Different cultures and different points in time, and how mankind can actually come together and defeat a common enemy of the Predator. So I love that, and Badlands looks so awesome in the ways of going onto an alien planet, and then the whole purpose of the movie is based around an actual Predator who needs to, what's the word?
Isn't he?
Prove himself. This is going to be his first. It's going to be one of his first hunts.
Yeah. So isn't
he
it like
end up becoming the prey?
He's like the protagonist.
Yeah, he is. And then you've got Elle Fanning as part as an android of the Wayland Corporation as his offsider.
Yep.
And so there's not much human presence in this film at all. It's basically around this Predator trying to redeem and to prove himself. And you've got this android played by Elle Fanning. And I said the same director of Prey, Predator, Killer Killers, and then you got coming into so he's completing a trilogy, and he said that as long as this one does well, he's got another film in mind to proceed on with the franchise from there as well. So I'm a huge fan of Predator, so I cannot wait to check this out. And that comes out in October, and when they released this at Comic-Con, they provided the audience a 15-minute preview of it too, so it's getting some good kind of buzz coming into its October release. So that was Predator Badlands. Anything points on that?
That sounds really good. I'm intrigued by it. I was let down by how comical Alien versus Predator movies were.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I would say if you have Disney Plus, you have got Disney Plus?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. If you ever get Disney Plus back, I would seriously recommend jumping on and watching Prey.
Yep.
Fantastic. And then go straight into watching Predator Killer of Killers. It is absolutely fantastic. And if you like them, then go and watch the film of Alien Romulus, because these films are just breathing a brand new life into these franchises, which is so refreshing to see.
All right, good tips.
So that's that. Next thing on the agenda was moving into Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So they've got a brand new series that they released a few years ago with season 1, been capturing the first book, which was The Lightning Thief. And so they've got season 2 coming out, and they dropped a brand new trailer after doing their panel. This season's based around the Sea of Monsters, which is the next book in the series. So they're premiering. That's pretty much they just showed this one, which I love. It's pretty much it is all about Greek gods and their children of demigods and all this kind of stuff, which is Perseus, who is the son of Poseidon, and you've got all these demigods and things like that. So this series is fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time, it is targeted at that mid audience, younger audience, because the books are those teenage, young adult kind of feel to them. So I love Percy Jackson. I actually a fan of the original films with Logo Lerman. So when they were doing a series about it, and they actually were taking the time to spend 7 or 8 hours of a series on each of the books, I found was very intriguing to see. And the first season was done very beautifully, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with season 2. So season 2 of Percy Jackson was definitely on my radar, and that is being released in Australia on Disney Plus on the 10th of December. So any thought process on Percy Jackson?
Well, Percy Jackson kind of skipped over my generation. So,
okay.
Yeah, I kind of skipped out on that one because I went down a different path of Dexter and other things.
No,
and Hunger Games type thing.
Nice, cool. All right, cool. Next thing on the agenda was delving into the genre of horror. So this goes into It. So Pennywise the Clown. So they've got a brand new series coming on HBO Max called It, Welcome to Derry, which tells the origin story of Pennywise and the town of Derry, and just expanding that world and leading into the original It movie, or It Chapter 1.
Interesting. That sounds good.
Interesting, yeah. So as soon as you got HBO tagged to a project, your ears already prick up, because they are pretty much the gold standard when it comes to series. They don't rarely miss, and they put so much thought into their projects that they greenlight, and there are a certain amount of quality that they have on their series, especially that the fact that a lot of streaming services and a lot of streaming shows these days aren't actually giving the correct runtime for their TV for their shows.
Yep.
Plus, they're not getting them enough episodes as well. So I'm really over the fact that we're only getting like 5 or 6 episodes in a season, and each episode only goes for like 35 minutes or so. I'm really over it. They need to go back to the way it was with cable and those, not cable in Australia, but it was more for those series where you can actually pump out 20 episodes a season and we get one every year. We've lost those days because of certain quality of streaming. So going back to this one, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they can adapt and expand the world of Pennywise and the town of Derry and just bringing that horror aspect to a weekly released TV show. So intrigued. The trailer has got that essence of horror to it. The only thing that the first trailer and this new trailer they released at Comic-Con is that they focus on the town and the community and the characters, human characters, which I understand that that's what the show is probably going to be about. But a lot of people, knowing it's called It Welcome to Derry, they want to see Pennywise. And both the first trailer and the second trailer, they don't actually show the full glimpse of him. They just show him as a overshadow at the end of the trailer. So they actually didn't show you much about Pennywise. So I'm really hoping if they do release another trailer before its premiere, that they would at least give some essence of how Pennywise is going to work within the story.
It's basically anything that has a certain IP from the movie and TV studios, and they go, oh, that was a decent hit or whatever, like the antagonist. Let's give him a backstory. And so everything is turning into that, and then it makes the antagonist
sympathetic.
A bit more sympathetic, and then it's like, oh yeah, I like him now.
I really doubt it. The thing is, Cosby, like the only thing I have against prequels is that you know the ending, you know where things are going to end up. So the good thing I like about sequels, at least it pushes the story forward. So you don't know what to expect when it comes to with certain characters. When you do a prequel, you're very limited to what you can do because you know you got to lead to an ending where the audience already knows what's going to happen. Unless you do something like set 2,000 years in the past, and then you can actually have a bit more freedom. But when you've got a series like this where it literally leads into chapter 1, you can't do too much when it comes to to doing that. So I'm actually still going to check it out. Like I said, it's a HBO original series. It's going to be released on HBO Max in Australia. It's been given an October window, but it hasn't actually given a date yet. So we should be getting that hopefully soon, but it's said October 2025 is when that's being released. Okay, going into my second last topic here on this topic is something that I think you might actually perk your ears up here on you, Maddie, because you recently watched a film in this genre and this franchise in a way, and that is Coyote versus Acme.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this.
So this was released at Comic-Con. We finally got a 2026 release date from the directors and some of the cast members who came out on stage on Comic-Con. And anyone who's been following the pop culture zeitgeist online and how the tragedy that this film has been going through this last year or so, that this film has been up for bid from Warner Brothers and nobody wanted to buy it.
No. Warner Brothers didn't want to sell it because they wanted to claim it on tax.
They did, but they still put it up for bid.
I think they put it up for too much. And
so they wanted to write it. So what they did, I think we're both right. So they put it up. They wanted to write it off as on tax, but the main thing they put it up for bid. So all they said that when they put it up for bid, they wanted the studio who's going to buy it to pretty much give them the money that they just spent on the production and marketing,
which is catch-up entertainment.
They didn't actually spend anything on the marketing yet because they haven't actually promoted it yet. So it was just they just wanted at least the marketing budget back, the production budget back on the film.
Because that's all they wanted. Warner Brothers wrote it off, just like what they did with Batgirl, for tax, and then for.
I don't that they still put it up for bid before because. Batgirl, they just shelved it. They just wrote it off completely. At least with Coyote versus Acme, they actually put it up for bid, but then no one actually got it before.
Catch-up Entertainment, who brought out the day the Earth blew up.
Brought it out. So they came out on stage at Comic-Con and they talked all about it, and they said that, yes, we're finally coming back. Catch-up Entertainment has brought it out, and we've got some marketing on. They showed some of the promotional materials and the some of the trailers at Comic-Con. So it has not been released here in around the world wide or online as of yet. So we find, but the same thing, there is green light at least for the film that it's got a 2026 release date of the 28th of
Yeah,
August.
looking forward to that for sure.
So, because I know you recently watched the Looney Tunes film, was it
The Day the
Versus
Earth
the
Blew
World or
Up.
something? Yes.
Yeah, which
What did you think? What was the reception of
oh,
that? And
loved
what
it.
did you think of that?
Absolutely loved it, and it was straight out of, like, say you know how you got your Space Jam, like.
Yes.
And you know,
Love Space Jam.
yeah, to a point where it's just basically a big commercial. And same with Space Jam 2, and then they've just gone, oh yeah, we'll just release our IP on do stuff.
Hugely like Space
But
Jam too.
the Day the Earth Blew Up was basically like a proper episode of Looney Tunes, but just on the big screen and movie length. It was sensational. It was down to its truest slapstick form, where the voice acting was amazing, the visuals were fantastic, and after that, I'm just like going, I want more. I want more of this. So,
Well, it looks like you might be getting your wish.
and Coyote
to an
versus
extent.
Acme is pretty much the the live action / animation interaction. Kind of think Space Jam, think Looney Tunes back in action, think Who Framed
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit. It's that type of movie.
Yeah.
But
So, did you saw that? I keep forgetting the title of the film.
The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Day the Earth Blew Up. Did you see that in theaters or did you see it on streaming?
Saw it on streaming, and I wanted.
Is it on a streaming service or did you have to rent it?
Yeah, it's available to rent and buy.
Okay, cool.
But it was that I wanted to see it at cinema, but it was only very limited release. So it was more or
Yeah,
less
I thought that'd be the case.
at a certain cinemas. Like it was restricted, as in they didn't put it out in too many cinemas, and I was quite
Yeah.
disappointed. So
Yeah,
I would have had
not
to
a
travel
big
into the
market.
city to go see it.
Yeah, oh, that's unfortunate. But yes, at the end of the day, we've got some good news with the project. We're getting it. That's the good thing. It said, yeah, like I said, it's August 28th, 2026 is when it's coming out. Hope that it is the worldwide release date. So hopefully we will just
Mate, we're seeing it. We're going to see it together.
bring it on, mate. Any chance to experience this kind of stuff with you, I will take up that chance. Absolutely. Now, going into our last topic surrounding these major announcements out of Comic-Con, and we're delving into the universe of Star Trek. So Star Trek had a panel where they were promoting the brand new series I think is coming out next year called Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Plus, they were also promoting, even though it's currently streaming at the moment, the new season of Strange New Worlds, Season 3. They were also giving up some promotional material for Season 4. So Star Trek Starfleet Academy is a brand new show that's kind of going back in time a bit. Another kind of prequel series kind of telling about how the Academy comes about when it comes to Star Trek and going into some people wanting to pretty much go through their schooling to get onto becoming a member of Starfleet. So the series has a great cast with Holly Hunter as the lead, and the trailer they released for it was very much captivating, and Holly Hunter's voiceover was the entire thing, so it was so good to see. The visuals are beautiful, which is what you expect of late after watching Discovery and Strange New Worlds. And then you got Paul Giamatti playing a villain. I think from the looks of it, he's either playing a Romulan or I keep forgetting. See, my friend who's going to be listening to this podcast, he's going to be whacking the back of my head the fact that I'm getting these.
And you know what? I'm going to leave this part in. So yeah.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
I would usually edit it out, but no, because you.
I'm digging myself a hole when I'm trying to remember the different races within Star Trek. It just shows you how much of a Star Wars fan more so I am than I am in Star Trek. But Klingon. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay, there you go.
So Romulan or Klingon is, I think, Paul Giamatti is playing from what he looks like. I can be mistaken. Please let me know if I am. But from what the one kind of shot they had at the end of the trailer of Paul Giamatti, he is playing that sort of villainous kind of role. But then you've also got returning cast members of the franchise that is Star Trek. You've got Robert Picardo, who was the Doctor in Star Trek Voyager. You've got Oded Farah, who was in Discovery, plus Tig Notaro, who was also in Discovery. So you've got some returning actors from the franchise of Star Trek to kind of round out this brand new show of Starfleet Academy. And then I can't talk about it without talk about Star Trek without the showing that little surprise clip they sent out relating to Strange New World season 4. Looks like they've taken note from Joss Whedon in Angel back in the day, and they're going into the world of the Henson Company and turning the cast into Muppets and doing and going down that route. So they, yeah, pretty much. So they did the stereotypical musical episode in season 2 last season, like a couple of years ago, and looks like season 4 they're going to go to the Muppet route and kind of turn their cast into Muppets. So I'm actually a huge fan of Strange New Worlds. I'm a new Star Trek in the zeitgeist of fandom. I'm a fairly new Star Trek fan. I got into Star Trek with the J.J. Abrams rebooted.
Same
back
here.
in 09.
Same here.
So that's where I got into it. I didn't really like Star Trek growing up. I was always into Star Wars. But my awesome friend got me eventually. We went and saw Star Trek in 09 in theaters, and I walked on going, okay, that was fun. That was high space adrenaline, fun action, and such a great ensemble of characters and cast members. I was so interested, and I loved those films. So, and then when you brought out the new series from that, you got Discovery, and then you've got Strange New Worlds now. I'm just a big fan of them. So that's the last topic. That was Star Trek Starfleet Academy and going into Strange New Worlds. So you big fan of Star Trek? And
I like Star Trek.
What's your opinion about
I used to watch the original series when they had them on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like occasionally, just I'll be a random tuner in. And I did love and do love the J.J. Abrams films, as well as some of the classics. So, I'm a casual Star Trek viewer.
Yeah, so when they were releasing Picard a number of years ago, I had to ask my friend who's a big Star Trek nerd to go, okay, I love the look of these series. What do I need to do? So he then gave me a whole list of episodes between the Next Generation films, and then Voyager that I had to watch to kind of get myself up to speed on Picard. So I didn't watch everything because it's just so much. Just like yourself with Star Wars, there's so much. But I had to get a crash course about certain key episodes to watch to get into Picard. So I'm very much like yourself. I'm very much a mid-tier fan of Star Trek, but I still love them. I still love the world now, and I'm intrigued to see where the future goes.
Well, they've got the technology to do it now. They've got the special effects to do, go further and further.
And boldly go.
Yeah.
Boldly go.
They can, exactly, yeah.
That is the Comic-Con announcements, the big ones that I thought we'll mention going through this. So is there anything out of those 10 topics that piqued your interest a lot more? I know Coyote Protest Acme, I think, is the one that stand out the most with yourself, but is there anything that's out of them that kind of give you extra 2 cents?
Only my Simpsons stuff, but don't worry about that. So we'll just end it on that part. Yep.
Cool. So that wraps up the segment of Comic-Con and in San Diego for 2025.
Thank you, Reece.
And gearing up for 2026 and see what happens then.
Excellent. Fingers crossed we'll be able to attend one of those in the near future.
Fingers crossed for that, maybe. Let's see what the future holds.
Okay, now it is time. We've got time, yeah. We can squeeze it in. We've got a new movie review. So
can't be Reese's reviews without at least one movie review.
That's true. And it is a movie that we've both watched, and it has come out.
This should be interesting to talk about.
Yes. It is, because I grew up on the original.
So did I.
And now a new generation is going to be watching this with the older generation. And then I've already seen a few comments. Oh, yeah, sorry. We're talking about Happy Gilmore too. So,
yes, we are.
The Adam Sandler sequel. The sequel to Adam Sandler's 1996 hit. And while it's basically Netflix is just buying our nostalgia. That's really all it is. There's so many cameos galore and everything. The one thing that I found amusing is that the younger generation, right? So I'm
Yeah.
Gen Y, like borderline Gen X. I'm older Gen Y, and the thing with Happy Gilmore 2 is that a lot of younger viewers are saying, "Oh, Claire Dunphy is in this." So, but basically, Julie Bowen. So from Modern Family,
Modern
but they
Family.
just know her from Modern Family, and they're not aware that she was in Happy Gilmore. So
She was so hot.
that I find absolutely hilarious. So, but yeah, Happy Gilmore 2, pretty much without spoiling anything. Basis.
See, that's the thing. I personally think that we should be able to do spoilers because it's a streaming film, so it's allowed to be at home
I
viewing.
was going to say, if you listen to a previous episode of ours where we were talking about Happy Gilmore 2, I was correct.
You know what?
I was correct.
As I said, this is a I think we established on this podcast that if it's not a theatrical film, if it's available to you on streaming,
yeah, it's instantaneous.
Now the fact that it's been open for over a week, open spoilers can be discussed. In my opinion, do you agree?
Okay, straight up, okay. I guessed it
so
right. That
I sat down, we watched this, and within the first 15 minutes, when they dropped the bomb that she died, I yelled in my seat and I went, bloody hell, Matt was right. I was like, and my wife was next to me and she looked at me and she goes, we were talking about this on the podcast a few weeks ago, and Matt picked that from the trailer that this was the way the story was going to go. And I went, man, Matt's going to write. I guarantee he's going to bring it up.
Yeah, Virginia Bennett cops the ball to the head.
So
exactly.
To start off with that, what was your thought process when that happened?
I laughed because, and that also set the premise or the basis that Happy Gilmore 2 is a copy and paste from Happy Gilmore, and they've just tweaked it to match the modern era, as well as adjust the humor and all that to be more age appropriate, as Happy Gilmore mentions within. Because in the first movie, at the beginning, where his dad dies from copying the hockey puck, so to the head, so that's normal. And then some of the comments that I see that people go, "Oh, why didn't Virginia? Why couldn't she have ducked or whatever?" And it's like, well, you got a fastball going straight at you, and then they refer to what's his name's the cousin in Happy Gilmore 2, where he's on the golf driving range, and then they're hitting the balls at him. He's wearing a helmet. So, yeah. Anyway, that's just being, quite pedantic.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I enjoyed the fact that they've brought in a whole bunch of stars, like the golfing world, basically, shitload of cameos, and also they pay tribute to a lot of cast members or characters who have passed away in real life. So great homages, and they'll either paid tribute in some type of visual form, or there's the child is the son or the daughter of that respected character is there to represent. So they did it well, and the movie goes longer than the original. But the way it's pure Happy Madison style humor, as in the production company. It's straight up that, and the fact that it's a very family film, like including Adam Sandler's family being in it. So his wife Jackie and his daughters, Sonny and Sadie. In fact, one of his daughters plays his daughter. So in the thing, and it's great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, it's great for the throwbacks, because when they do make references to certain things in it, they actually show a clip or a quick little flash. It's like, just a bit of a remembrance trigger type thing. So
disposition.
Yeah, and then even if you rewatch it again, especially during the part where the fight scene in the cemetery, there's certain movements or whatever, you see all the gravestones and stuff, but if you pause on a moment on a particular gravestone where Happy's being strangled, it's exactly like they did with the first part of Happy Gilmore, mainly with Bob Barker. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. Yeah. So the whole premise being Happy accidentally kills his wife Virginia, even though they've had a great life and they've had 5 kids, 4 boys and 1 girl, and yeah, after the accidental killing with a golf ball to the head, it drives Happy to alcoholism, depression, and then he retires from the game and so forth. Even though he's left a mark on that, so he's well connected, well established within the golfing industry.
Yeah.
And then Shooter McGavin is also institutionalized. He's gone crazy and so forth. And then also Happy, his daughter needs money, intuition for her ballet dancing.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and so it's like, well, how are we going to get this money? And it goes from there. So he goes back into tournament again. And also to kind of make it in the modern era, people who, or a guy who's a loose image, I should say, of a certain Paul family and an energy drink of sorts, decides to turn golf into an extreme type of sport.
Yep.
And so it's old versus new.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. So, yeah, there were a lot of spoilers in that. It goes from there.
Yeah. So overall, would you
give it a 3.
give it a thumbs up and thumbs down? And what did you rate it?
I give it what did I give it actually? I gave it a,
Pretty sure you gave it like a 3 or 3.5.
this is on my Letterboxd. I think I gave it a
You gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3, yeah. It was a good laugh. There was some parts where it's like, okay, you really shoehorned in a couple of things. Didn't really need to, but I still enjoyed it. It was a great turn your brain off, and it was not like Netflix had gone to Adam Sandler. Here's a shitload of money. Do what you want with it. Have fun, and especially the de-aging moments too. They did some really good things, like with some of the CGI and all that, like of past characters and everything else. So that I think they did a really good job with it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, for the nostalgia value, that's great. But if you're going in there expecting something fresh and original, no.
Okay. So that's pretty much your 2 cents. I'll chime in. I don't think I liked it as much as you did. I thought they literally, pun intended, they dropped the ball. It wasn't a hole-in-one, in my opinion. I thought they had some great laughs at it, and I did have some like laugh out loud moments throughout it, but they were like every 15 or so minutes, and then you have a comedy sequel based on a film that I was literally laughing constantly throughout it. I wasn't laughing a lot. I wasn't laughing as much as I was throughout this film. I was watching, there's certain laugh out loud moments, but it wasn't. I kept it throughout it, and there was a lot of times where you just like, I found that there was a lot of scenes that weren't necessary. They needed to be done. I thought they overdid the cameos. I think there was way too many. It's like Adam just put out a casting call to all his famous friends to try and get as many people in as possible.
Yeah.
I thought some work, and I think he just overdid it.
Well,
with a lot of other ones.
it
took me out of the story.
A lot of it would have just gone directly over your head if you didn't like a lot of the golfing cameos.
Yeah, a lot of the golf, the pro golfers, which that part I thought worked. Yeah. Like you're having a movie based on around a sport of golf. It's kind of good if you actually get pros of that sport in the film, because they bring to that authenticity and the realism of that sport, because you actually have real, the same way they did with Formula One, would actually have real life Formula One drivers pictured in they doing actual races and actually on set. The same aspects with here. Like I understand the good thing about that, but then you've got just taking way too far with a bunch of other cameos. Like I did get a giggle out of Eminem, but it wasn't like I didn't laugh out loud in those kind of instances. And there was a lot of scenes that weren't really necessary and things like that. I did appreciate certain things, and I did thought that having his family in there definitely didn't hold to the film in any way. I think they definitely contributed as much as they possibly could. Um, the main plot point, like with Virginia dying, I'm in two minds, kind of thing. Like, because part of me think it was a bit of a waste of having Julie Bowen in it. Like, I kind of thought like she was a massive big heart to the first one, and even though they had the same kind of beginning point with the first one, and with the first one of a loved one dying in both the first and the second one, I kind of thought that it was in a way a waste of
But
Julie Bowen's
what did you
character.
think of Ben Stiller's return as Hal L
Oh, I enjoyed the continuity of having him both in both of them. Like,
with a larger role in the movie?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot. I think he had been like the main
and
poet behind it. I just, yeah,
Shooter McGavin becoming
I enjoyed
a bit.
Shooter. I enjoyed him coming
Yeah,
back.
it's like that. It's with all the pressure of people putting on Sandler, going, "Hey, we want another Happy Gilmore. We want something like that," and then it's like,
Yeah, I just think they cause like even though he's doing his press junkiness and they've been trying to figure out the script for years and years, and then with COVID and the strikes they were pushed back a bit, and then they finally got things together. But I just thought that the screen, like, with all that being said, I still found the script wasn't strong,
yeah.
and it just didn't. It might have read well, but it didn't translate very
And
well.
well, the
And
fact that Adam Sandler's like in his he's getting on, so
yeah, he's getting on. He still looks good.
yeah,
Like he doesn't. I don't think in the last few films I've seen him, he hasn't really changed in that way. But it's
but
just
it's
that,
like a Happy Gilmore has matured Gilmore,
yeah.
if anything.
So I just yeah,
But Shooter
I
McGavin, Christopher McDonald still was just stealing all the scenes. In fact, he has possibly come out as the better character out of all of them. So everyone friggin' loves
yeah,
Shooter
he's the
McGavin.
one I like the most.
Everyone, yeah,
Yeah, so I just think like yeah, some of the I just think like yeah, overall is a I didn't give it a like on my letterbox. I gave it a 2.5 stars. So it's like there are some good moments in the film and some things I did laugh out loud with. And I did find that what you were saying before about the homages and the respect and the emotion ties to certain people that passed away. I'm not too sure if you're aware of this, but I picked it out and I did vocalize it, which not many people know about it. But a young actor by the name of Cameron Boyce passed away a number of years ago with a disease that he'd been battling for quite a while, which my heart just still goes out to his family. He was in the Descendants films on Disney, and he was also played Adam Sandler's son in the Grown Up
yep.
films. And he passed away a couple of years ago, which was very heartbreaking to
Because he
hear.
was meant to be in
And
Hubie Halloween.
yeah, he was. And if you would see, there's a scene where Happy's trying to get back into the game. He goes to this a golfing course and he gets paired up with these three obnoxious kind of young teenagers in a way.
Millennials, yeah.
And when he walks up to the booth with about to say, "I want to play," and these two people inside the booth are watching a TV screen. If you watch it closely, Cameron Boyce is these Disney show that I think it was Disney or Nickelodeon show that he had that he was in the early 2000s. Those people were watching that show on the TV screen, and it's like literally about 3 or 4 seconds you see Cameron Boyce on screen, which I think that was a little of a honor of Cameron Boyce and his relationship he had with Adam and things like that. And then you go through the cemetery of different people who passed away and showing Carl Weathers and the crocodile at the end and bringing that whole thing full circle. So there was a lot of touching moments, a lot of homages to the original, a lot of disposition I
Like a
found.
love letter to
So
the passing of loved ones, yeah.
yeah, so I wouldn't say it's the worst film I've seen, but I did expect it a bit. I didn't know what I was expecting from the sequel. I didn't think I was expecting much because, for one thing, it's Netflix, and a lot of 9 times out of 10 Netflix films are very, very bad. So I was expecting, I was hoping at least with having the Anna Sandler flavor on it, it would actually give some sort of better result. But unfortunately, it just didn't live up to a certain extent that I had that it was Happy Gilmore. I still have the first one, so if I had a choice, I would still watch the first one hands down every single time. I don't think I would go back and rewatch it unless someone who hadn't seen it he was interested in seeing, yeah, I'll sit down and watch it with them, but I personally wouldn't put it on my own accord. So I could get trailing back. I gave it 2.5 stars, and it was a good bit of fun for a night. I don't regret not watching it. Hey, I did have some fun laughs out of it, and good kind of family kind of oriented story to it, and bringing things full circle with all his family being brought into it, and having Rob Schneider pop up doing his "You can do it" thing was classic, and all the different cameos that he was able to get into it, which was surprising to see. So yeah, overall, good little fun for some people, but wouldn't rank it up on my highest point. And unfortunately, a legacy sequel that doesn't live up to the hype again, unfortunately. So another one to the grinder, in my opinion. But looks like the good thing about entertainment, it hits us all in different ways. Looks like you got a lot more enjoyment out of it than I did, which I am actually very jealous about, because films hits us all in different ways, and it hit you more so than it did me. But I just wished all films would succeed, and unfortunately, this one didn't work for me. But it worked for
Hey,
you.
I kept the expectations low to the ground, and they exceeded my expectations. So,
Which is which is an amazing thing you like do. Like, I remember seeing one of the Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse films. I walked into it like not thinking that the marketing in the trailer went through great with it, and I walked out of going, that was phenomenal. And I love when the fact when you walk out of a film with low expectations and they surpass it. I think it's fantastic. So hands down, I am jealous in that aspect with yourself.
yeah.
So.
Also, there's one thing too, which I'll point out, that his original caddy, even though he was replaced by Bad Bunny, the original.
He did not a bad job.
Yeah,
I didn't think
he did a good job.
At all
It shows that
the cameos and the worst characters in that film, Bad Bunny did a pretty good job.
It shows that Bad Bunny's got a sense of humor. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
The original caddy, who was played by Sandler's good mate, Alan Covert, so who's part of the Happy Madison Productions. He was on a podcast only a week or so ago, and someone had asked him, why weren't you in Happy Gilmore 2? And he simply said that, he goes, I wanted to be, but I couldn't because I was filming another movie. So it was scheduling conflict. So
scheduling conflicts.
So it's like, unfortunately, he couldn't do it because he was too busy working. So that's all right.
And a lot of the times that happens. There's a lot of times scheduling conflicts might be the scapegoat for Hollywood, but a lot of times it is literally that simple for a lot of stars, where they want to be in projects that they were returning to or want to be a part of an ensemble, but unfortunately it comes to their contracts and their agreements and conflicts. They can't be. I
did enjoy the appearance of John Lovitz. Do you mind?
I did point out the Kelsey, Travis Kelsey and his father were in it, and I just said that to my wife when she went, "That's Travis Kelsey," and she goes, "Who?" I went, "He works. He's a NFL footballer. He's dating Taylor Swift." She goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Like,
Meanwhile, David Spade and Kevin James are sitting at home waiting for their phone to ring. It's like, when am I going to appear in Happy Gilmore 2?
Yeah. Well, you can always count on Rob Schneider being thrown into it.
My thoughts and appeal on Rob Schneider have gone down the toilet, so I don't really think much of him now. So
yeah, that's when your whole thing of you might not agree with people's political or person things, but I think 9 times out of 10, I think I can definitely separate the artist from the art.
I was happy to put up with him doing his "You Can Do It" character, which was completely fine. So that was it. And I'm going, as long as he's not in it for anything else.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
Cool.
Fair enough. Any closing thoughts on?
No,
Happy
I
Gilmore
loved it,
too?
and it will be my go-to after a few drinks, or just to turn off your brain.
I think it's one of those films, if you're having a few drinks and you're a bit tipsy or getting drunk, it's one of those films where I think you can find a lot more. You'll be able to find a lot more hilarity in that film if you're under a few drinks.
It appealed to a particular audience, and that has been fulfilled.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't like, just to close up, I didn't like the fact, I know the whole being able to go in the extreme sport. I didn't like that.
Well, that was a complete parody, satire of.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. They turned it into fun putt-putt.
Well, it's extreme putt-putt. And
Yeah, I didn't like
But
it. I like the fact that with the first one, you still stuck to the original
but
game.
the fact is that they were taking the piss out of the current generation of mini millionaires who are getting rich off the energy drinks, wanting to get something and pull it to the extreme, like just trying to make it everything extreme, because their attention span and everything else is just so dismal and so forth. So it's just a parody of that. And so the fact that you didn't like that whole thing, that was the idea.
Yeah, I just didn't think that translated to, like, you can sometimes tell when the filmmakers are trying to take the piss out of it. I didn't see to get that that vibe when I was watching those scenes. I thought there was a bit more of seriousness until they get to the end part of that sequence where things are very much you are very much taking the piss out of it. But I just found, well, they were leading into that third act with that they were taking themselves a bit too seriously in that aspect, and they're weighing away from the proper sport of golf in that way. So.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Reese's Reviews. Wow, we covered a lot there. So,
Hell yeah. I love
excellent. All right. Well, again, thank you very much for downloading, listening, following us, etc. Feel free to email your complaints to info@mygeekculture.com.au. And look,
we're just welcoming the complaints now,
yes,
are we?
and so I'm looking forward to seeing what goods and reviews you come up with in our next episode, Reece. So
yeah, bring
excellent.
it on.
All right, well, this has been Reese's Reviews, produced for mygeekculture.com.au and produced by Matt Fulton Productions, mattfulton.com.au. My name is Matt.
This is Reece Cashel. May the force be with you.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast.
What's the quote he says in the second one?
Why would I want to eat pieces of shit?
So why would I want to mess with somebody who
Eats
eats pieces of shit for breakfast?